Welcome back to the Big Game Records. We're in the Poulter herd this time. This is one of my favourites. I think it was basically our first trophy guest here, Colin Deans. As I said on the last episode, I remember reading back in a Rod and Rifle about Colin Deans, and then how for Christmas, although I've already started reading it, I've got New Zealand Hunting Legends, Book 3, from Rod and Rifle, compiled by Kevin J. Whitelaw. He quotes Mr. Bruce Banwell here quite a lot. The contents of book number 3 are Fred Furkett and, of course, the Deans brothers, Ethne Herrick, Donald Bell, Elton Wilson, the Studhams, Fraser Cooper, Rex Forrester, absolute legend, Gary Joel, and Walter Somerville. So, yeah, if you're running out of ideas for someone for Christmas, that's especially with somebody enjoying this podcast, or yourself. I like people keep asking, what can I get you for Christmas? Well, maybe suggest New Zealand Hunting Legends. Of course, we found out this week that the last of the Hunter's Journal will be out tomorrow. If you listen to this as it's released, yep, the last of the Hunter's Journal. So get your hands on that. That is also another great gift there for Christmas, or just to have over the New Year period, wherever you are chilling out when you're not listening to the Stag Rule podcast. Of course, you'll be subscribed, because the Poulter herd, it's massive. I think it's just really cool how the Poulter herd sort of moved and interacted with the Rakai herd, the West Coast herd, the Nelson herd, and probably, especially when it came to the West Coast, and Nelson contributed some fantastic genes. A really good way, if you get your hands on these books, is to bring up the doc maps whilst you read it. And as sort of Banwell talks about the ranges where animals were found and hunted and moved, it really sort of helps you get an understanding for deer movements. Similar when you read about the Otago herd, it's quite fascinating. One of the, in part 1, my favourite herd there is, of course, the Wairarapa herd. I was sort of reading about that and thinking about where it may have ended up at a relations farm. I actually ended up giving him a call. And then, of course, how the Wairarapa herd contributed to most of the North Island herds of note, in particular the exceptional trophies that have come out of the Taumarunui, shifting those captured calves up to the Ruapehu, and then they migrated north and west into the Taumarunui area. But anyway, we're on the Poulter herd. It's really cool. And of course, it is first up, Colin Deans, North Esk Valley, Hiranui River, 1932. It's a 9 by 10. It's 42 and 1 by 43 and 1, and spread of 41 and 6. So already you know that this is a thumper. Spans 32. Beams are 6 and 6 by 6 and 4. The coronets are 10 and 1 by 10 and 4. The brow tines are 15 and 3 by 15 and 2. The bays are 5 by 4. At least they're there, unlike some of those Nelson herds. The tray tines, they're 9 and 3 by 9 and 3. The tops, so the royal tine, each side 10 by 8 and 6. And this is where it gets interesting. The right-hand side here has an off-royal 1 of 5 and 6, and off-royal 2 of 2 and 6. An outer royal of 7 and 6, and off-outer royal of 1 and 6. So lots of measurements there that don't contribute to the final score. Then there's the back tine, 19 and 4 by 19 and 5. Then the left side has an off the back tine of 14 and 2. Jeepers. Then we get some scoring here. Outer off the back tine, 12 and 2 by 8. And then a few more that don't contribute. So the first off the outer off back tine of 6 and 2 on the left hand side, and second off the outer off back tine of 2 and 4, again on the left hand side. So despite all that missing from the score sheet, or the total score, it cracks the 300, and it's 321, which is bloody cool. So the story goes, Colin Deans was a member of the well-known Canterbury family, but who lived at Masterton for many years. If you're ever in Christchurch, head along to the Riccarton markets and poke your head inside Riccarton House, as well as the little bush in behind. It's very, very cool. I used to go there on my lunch hour when I was working in Riccarton. Also, the Saturday markets are stunning. Bacon Bros. Yeah, that was me. Also, the speaking of Esk Valley, Ashley apples. They were awesome. This party of stalkers already well covered in the text, with which Deans was associated throughout the 1930s, hunted for a number of seasons in the North Esk Valley, a tributary of the Hiranui River. It consisted of Colin, his brother Douglas, Alistair and Nancy Williams, and HD and R.A. Bunny, all from the Wairarapa with the exception of brother Douglas. Most of the stalking was carried out on the Candlesticks and Studleigh Range, each on opposing sides of the valley. This particular stag was taken on the Studleigh Range, about which Deans later described as a straightforward stalk of a roaring stag on the sunny faces of the North Esk Valley. The party enjoyed the hospitality of the landowner, Harry Dampier Crossley, for the best part of a decade, and who joined them on several occasions, and they were always very well cared for by the station manager Angus Trumper and his wife. This party was successful in securing several fine trophies. Alistair and Nancy Williams are the parents of Tom Williams, a person very prominent in the deer farming industry in more recent years. So yes, make sure you're subscribed. Next up, we've got E.B. Remington, Poulter Valley itself, 1921. Join us there. This is New Zealand Big Game Records Volume 6, The Red Deer, Part 2, written and compiled for the New Zealand Deerstalkers Association, incorporated by D. Bruce Banwell. Published by the Halcyon Press, a division of Halcyon Publishing Limited, PO Box 360 Auckland, 1140 New Zealand. Printed by Prolong Press Limited, China. Copyright 2011, D. Bruce Banwell, first published 2011, all rights reserved.